as I walk through the world, looking here, looking there, at the wonders of Maya's illusion. And I try to control all the waves of my mind, and I stumble amidst the confusion. Let me never forget thee. Let me never forget thee. Fill my heart with undying love, and show me the way.
So I start out each day with a strong soul and vow to remove all the darkness that finds me, and I fall in the clutches of bondage once more, and the playthings of Maya, they blind me.
Let me never forget thee. Let me never forget thee. Fill my heart with undying love,
And show me the way.
and whenever the veil is cast over my eyes, and I run to the pleasures in blindness, and whenever I stray, even though miles away, come and show me thy infinite kindness. Oh, let me never forget thee. Let me never forget thee. Fill my heart with undying love, and show me the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me never forget thee. Let me never forget thee. Fill my heart with undying love, and show me the way. Oh, let me never forget thee. Let me never forget thee. Fill my heart with undying love, and show me the way. Let me never forget thee. Let me never forget thee. Fill my heart with undying love, and show me the way. Let me never
Om Ashato Ma Sadgamaya Tamasho Ma Jyotirgamaya Mriturmayamritangamaya Avirmaidhi Rudro Yatte Dakshinang Mukham Tena Mang Pahi Nityam Tena Mang Pahi Nityam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to to light, lead us from death to immortality, and evermore shine in our hearts with your resplendent face. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us all. So today, our topic is 3 steps of exit. The last month we talked about 2 steps of exit, and now it is 3 steps.
Path.
Eh?
Path.
Paths. 3 paths, okay. Paths of exit, right. So, the point is that this world is not a very pleasurable place in which we live because we are ignorant. Of course, one gets the knowledge. Everything of this world becomes sweet and charming and full of joy and blessings. But still we get that knowledge. Then this problem remains. Our suffering, our pleasure, our pain, our anxieties, worries remain. So how to get out of this? Last time we saw that there are our good karmas, our meditation prayer can take us to the 2 paths. One was to the path of light, and another path of little darkness, of return, path of return, to come back again because of the incompleteness of our fulfillment of desires. And path of light takes us to light and more light and more light, and then that is called the path of non-return. So our goal is the path of non-return, or better, not non-return even, to have it, the wisdom and knowledge here and now. How to have that knowledge here and now? That is the goal, and that is called the Jivan Mukta. That's Jivan Mukti, the state. To attain to that state is called Jivan Mukti. And that has been the goal of all the scriptures of the world, to attain freedom here and now. Particularly in Vedantic tradition, goal should be that much only, no less than that. So therefore, the talk about the Prasthanatraya, 3 paths of exit. One must have to follow the these 3 important philosophical truth, and truth is only one, 3 philosophical ways of approaching the truth. That should be the goal of life. And in Vedanta, particularly Vedanta, no study of Vedanta is considered complete without a close examination of these 3 texts, spiritual texts you can say, which helps us to have a perfect exit. Exit means exit from this bondage, this suffering, and this duality, and whatever is limiting us into this world of duality. So these are the 3 most authoritative and primary sources of teaching. That means leads us to salvation or freedom. Better word, freedom. And they are called Shruti, Smriti, and Nyaya. Shruti, you see, Shruti means hearing. Hearing what? Hearing from the people of experience. They have seen God, they have realized the truth. Listening to them and believing them as the truth, validated and proven, Shruti. And then comes Nyaya, logic, because somebody says something, I'll have to believe. That is not fair. And much bloodshed, much suffering in the whole world is going in the name of religion because of this. Because my book says and you believe. You have to challenge. That is the Vedantic freedom. You have to challenge, you can challenge everything to question whether it is reasonable, it is rational, and it is beyond my reason maybe, but it should not be, the foundation should be not irrational. It should be logical and it should be conclusive, and it will not contradict our normal reason. That's the second, that's called the Brahma Sutras, the aphorisms about Brahman, and that has been composed and compiled by Vyasa. And then comes the question of how it can be applied. First of all, truth experienced by somebody. It goes not irrational. It is to be grounded on strong logic. And then third point, if it is true, if it is logical, then what shall I do? I'll have to do something. And I'll have to practice so that I get the benefit of this freedom. How can I reach this freedom? So freedom is the goal, but these are the paths, you can say, following this tangible path. Here and now one can realize the truth. And it should be authoritative, it should come from the authority. Authority is where? Authority comes from there where there is realization. There is conviction comes from where there is, I have seen something, and somebody may contradict me, but my conviction will say, no, I know, I saw, I felt, I experienced. Ramakrishna was authoritative. In a modern context, we can think Sri Ramakrishna is the Upanishad, the Shruti, authoritative person. I saw God, I talked with him, I feel more tangibly than you. Then comes the question, you saw, you are convinced, but what is the proof that is right or wrong? There comes Vivekananda to test him. Yeah, these are all hallucinations of your mind. Hey, we also see many things, no? Little light flickering, like, I can press my eyes, now I can see the light. Darshan is so easy. It may be for some reason, indigestion can create some, like, hallucination. So, no. And then there is Swami Vivekananda who has the every inch of spiritual, he said that I have tested. That's why I know every inch of spiritual journey. Because he verified and tested. What verification was done by Ramakrishna? The ancient wisdom of the sages, the Shruti. He experienced that and then reaffirmed the scriptures as also to us that is the truth, it can be reached. And in this life it is possible. And then comes how to apply in practical life. Sometimes too much Vedanta, high Vedanta goes over our head. I am the witness consciousness, good idea. But how many people can actually conceive that? Intellectually we can do up to a certain point, but when life's problem comes, we fail. Therefore comes Bhagavad Gita, the practical solution. Real fight, war going on there. In every day of our life, war is going on. And in this war, we are facing such challenges. And in the face of that challenge, how it relates to the absolute truth which I have heard, how it relates to that it is rational, and that rational religion can be applied in this practical life. So, Shruti, Smriti, Nyaya, these are the three texts which are considered to be the only valid and true path which is to be examined and authoritative by its own right. It teaches the means to get out of this bondage. There is, now in this age we can think Ramakrishna, Vivekananda and Holy Mother. Ramakrishna stands for Anubhuti. There is nothing. In the Upanishads we will find that they are talking about the highest truth. Truth is, that's all. But how to apply in life, that is also there in ancient time. In the scriptures we find those. But to apply into our life, we need the Smriti Shastra. That's why this Gita and similar such Puranas are texts which deals with our day-to-day problem and guides us to reach the same destination. But the destination is to be validated. It's a true or it is just a fiction of mind in the total ground of rational analysis. So this is our background. We find that these three texts, we are talking about texts, but now we'll talk about also we can link. We are fortunate to have the text represented by a person in our historic time. What the Upanishad says, Ramakrishna is called the Upanishad Purusha. Upanishad Purusha. The Purusha, the embodiment of the ancient Upanishadic teachings. As if he has embodied the truth, whatever all spoken in the Upanishads, all the transcendental experiences. And he also was kind to speak out. As the Upanishads, the sages experienced those truths and then didn't sit idle. They just brought it out and taught that truth to their disciple, That's why Shruti, listening to, that's why Guru system has come so traditional in Indian spiritual realm that everyone should have a tradition. And that should come from valid knowledge of a person who have experienced the truth themselves. So here is the very important point that this is the age we are fortunate to have this Upanishad, the Shruti, a living Shruti, is Ramakrishna. And Brahma Sutra, that is the very logical conclusion. We'll discuss about that a little bit. How this truth can be logically established and all illogical thoughts can be shunned. Here we embodied form again Vivekananda. And how to apply in day-to-day life, keeping that wisdom intact, is the Holy Mother. So we find that Shruti, Smriti, Nyaya, these are the ancient texts of which the Hindu religion, Vedantic religion, is working for centuries and thousands of years and created wonderful saints and sages. In this age, we are fortunate to have them in person. That is a different point. Let us go back to our three paths. Let us talk about Upanishads. What is the Shruti? Shruti is the eternal truth experienced by sages and saints. Some are named, some are nameless. That is the cream of the Vedic wisdom. Vedas have both Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. Vedas start with people who have not the highest level of understanding about the absolute truth, with the level of Karma Kanda and performing rituals, performing some fire, sacrificial fire. doing some selfless work, gradually purified. And the cream of the Vedas is called the Upanishads or the Shruti. The cream is the talking about the ultimate truth. As are described in the Upanishad, and the eternal, and that truth which they have described is one wonderful thing. They have described that it is the property of every human personality. That is not special for this person and not for me. It is the eternal birthright of all of us to have that knowledge and wisdom. And we are all capable of that if we wish to be. So this truth have been practiced and verified and have been tested by spiritual scientists. I call scientists, because verified and verifiable. It has been verified, and we as a student, we can verify it. That's why Maharaj said, first practice. It comes to the, what you call smriti, logic. Not logic will do. Do this. Maharaj says, I have seen, I gave you the mantra, do, practice. And then if not, then come. I put this challenge. So this is the challenging response, that it had been tested and by the spiritual scientists from time immemorial till today. And not only that, realizing that truth, they are calling the whole universe to join. Shrinnantu Vishve, we quote it now and then. Shrinnantu Vishve amritasya putraha aye dhamani divyani tastu vedahametam purusham mahantam adityavarnam tamasha parastvat tamevo viditva otimritumeti nana pantha vidyate ayanaya. Upanishadic sage is telling this. Srinnantu Vishve, O ye immortal child of immortal bliss, ye are all children of immortal bliss. Listen, who live in the earth, in heaven, and any other abodes of higher abodes. Vedahametam, I have realized it. What a strong declaration. I have realized it. Veda aham. Sri Ramakrishna, Ami dekhechi. I have seen. I have seen God, I have talked with God. Vedahametam, a Purusham Mahantam, that grand spiritual entity, which is Aditya Varna, which is of the light of immortal light. Amrita, nectar like, which is Amrita. And Aditya Varnam is effulgent like that of the sun, and where there is no trace of darkness. All darkness, all ignorance, beyond all darkness, beyond all ignorance, I have known that. And tamevo viditva, only knowing that reality, otimrittum eti, one can cross, one can overcome this mrittu, death, and there is no other way. And then this is a welcome, and is a statement. You cannot contradict much. If someone says, I have seen it, and I have realized that truth, you can also do that. It is called a statement. There is no much scope to put question and doubt. You may put questions, but it is a statement of fact, a valid knowledge, experience. Upanishads are the experiences like that. Ramakrishna is only experiences, the only sign of his reality. So now, this statement, how shall I know that that is the only truth? Therefore, we find that in the Upanishads, there are many Upanishads, all these Shrutis, but we are referring a few only here. In the Upanishad, Kena Upanishad, which is a part of the Sama Veda, that starts with this question. This question, Kene shitang patati preshitang manaha kena prana prathama praiti yuktaha kene shitang bhacham imam vadanti chakshushatrang kaudevo junakti. This the student went to the teacher, and the student is putting this question to the teacher. Oh teacher, please tell me, kena ishitang, desired by whom, patati preshitang mana, my mind falls on the sense objects and runs around. Kena prana, by the vital force, my vital force is pushed by whom? And it is getting connected to the body. By whose power? Idam bacham, I am speaking. What is the power behind this speech? Idam badanti chakshu, the eyes, shrotram, the sense organs, kaudevo, what that effulgent light or effulgent reality is there. He connects us and forces us to go. It is this simple question. And the sages have no time to argue. As that story, you remember that Swami, one gentleman came to Belur Math and wanted to know about God and God realization, etc. So Swami Shivananda Maharaj was there, our second president of the Ramakrishna order after Brahmananda Maharaj. And there is a young Swami, he is well versed in the Vedas and all these scriptures, Brahma Sutras. So, when the question was put, then Mahapurush Maharaj, Swami Shivananda asked, you want to know the answer in one word? Come to me. God is the only truth. Realize. Finish. And you want to know it in many ways? What? Go to that song. That means this is the question. This is a very serious question. How I am speaking? What motor nerve, this nerve, neuron, this, that, okay, that far is okay. But what beyond that? It's a question, eternal question, a great question, life and death question. But the response comes, see, vague response, Shrutrasya Shrutram, Manasu Manujat, Vachaha Vacham, So Pranasya Pranaha, Chakshusas Chakshu, Oti Mucha Dhiraha, Prityasmad Loka Amrita Bhavanti. It is like Ramakrishna, one word. What is that? Oh, you asked who is the eye behind? Is the eye of the eye. I say, what do you understand by this simple word? Eye of the eye. Real eye behind this eye. Is the ear, real ear behind this ear. Shruttasya Shruttam Manasho. Is the mind, your mind functions, is the real mind behind the real mind. Mind behind the mind. These are statements, but it is not so easy for us to understand. Chakshusas Chakshu, and one dhira, only the person of wisdom, who can understand this, who can live this life, the otimuccha, overcoming these senses, they asmat lokat, from this plane of duality, from this plane of manifold, they go beyond amrita bhavanti, they become immortal. So we find that this is the response given. So we find this Shruti, Upanishad. Now, Shruti says, is it rational? This type of question is rational. To find, yes, it seems rational, because it is putting the question, what is behind? What is behind? Like a scientific inquiry. If we read what is in the rational book of Vedantic book, that Brahma Sutra, the first verse says, Atha Brahma Jigyasa. Atha, now means what? That is a big thing. Now anyone cannot come and put a question, Brahman Atman. So you get prepared for that. Are you ready for that? Have you got your schooling before you putting this question? So therefore now means after attainment of the requisite spiritual qualities. Have you acquired some basic spiritual quality, or you are coming from a just out of inquisitiveness or ego, arrogance, reading some books and to show your ego or pride, you are saying that putting this question. Have you the qualifications of the student? See, here rational thinking is coming. You are putting a big question. Have you the ability to grasp it? So author, therefore means as a result obtained by your, not only you have requisite qualification and you have done good karmas by sacrificial fire or charitable activity, doing, your mind has become little pure. Otherwise you are not fit student to ask this question. That's why the important point is the student is fit and he has done some work to purify the heart. Then, now he comes with a Brahma Jigyasa. It is called, whereas the result of the knowledge, the inquiry of Brahman then comes. He can put this question. And the very first question is Athato Brahma Jigyasa. And second, it says, second verse says, Janmadhyasya Yataha. What is this Brahman I am asking for? It is, everything has come out of that. Because Janmadi, this Brahman is the omniscient and all-pervading. It has come out of that. Everything in this creation has come out of that. And then there will be logical understanding. Why come out? Why Brahman is only one? And it's such a logical step-by-step verses are there. Sutras are there, aphorisms are there. And the highest intellect, so far so, one human intellect can rise their understanding, they will be satisfied with this rational step-by-step thinking on this. So this is the second idea of putting this Brahman idea. Who is Brahman? Because logically you have to prove that everything is created from something. Some creation means someone is the creator. But how it is created? They will say, Nimitta Karan, Upadana Karan. So all very strong logic. Anything you prepare, they see the podium. There must be some carpenter, there must be some engineer who is not found here. And there must be some material need, the plywood, the wood, the glue, this all other screw, and the talent to prepare it. So, Nimitta Karan, Upadana Karan. Two things we find in everything, whatever in the world. This book will, if you go to the Brahma Sutras, they will analyze this way. Anything created in the world, you see there are two causes. One is by which the element, it is called Upadana, and there is efficient cause and material cause. It is matter. This matter is necessary, and efficient cause, someone, intelligent person, with tools and other things, have done it. See, any rational mind will then, yes, that I understand. But this Brahman, everything has come out of Brahman. How that Brahman, is this Brahman? No, it is a wood. How it corroborates. Bring rational understanding. Anything you create, there are two items, Upadana and Nimitta. But here, two items are different. But in Brahman, this Upadana is the Brahman, and Nimitta is also Brahman. It is only one thing. Then what do I see? Then they will take us step by step. Oh, it is your ignorance. Maya, you are deluded. You don't see this in your dream. You see only in your waking state. And they will put such an argument step by step. You cannot deny that there is something which cannot be defined by any language or can be measured by any instrument, by even the tool of your mind and nothing. So that step by step, there is no one who can deny the arguments in that way. And there we find they are bringing in this Brahma Sutra, Shankara in comments, he brings all the available ideas and thoughts about the world and its creation, and he first states that idea. This is the Charvaka philosophy. This world is real, eat, drink, and be merry. And why are you thinking about God? From there they start. And they proved the inadequacy of that type of decision making. So they go on step by step and cutting all arguments, wrong arguments to be discarding, and then ultimately reaches a point where this Brahman idea comes, a one, non-dual, absolute. It is made, the same thing is, everything is permeated by that, everything is made out of that, and that's why here the efficient cause and material cause is the same Brahman. Therefore, whatever you see, it is coming from that Brahman. It's a rational mind. Okay, I know great Pandits are there in the world. So many scholars, you go, to understand simple thing, you go to them, they will make your mind reel around because they are intellectually satisfying. But practice, Ramakrishna said, scholars are good. They rise very high. But the question of absorbing and practicing and making manifest in life, there comes the idea of the Gita. So here we find second verse says, Janmadiyasya jataha. 4 verses of this Brahma Sutra are the major points, and all other verses are explanation of all these 4 verses. So these 4 verses are very cardinal in understanding. So all this creation has come from Janmadiyasya. How do you prove that Janma, it has come from Brahman? First of all, we believe our scriptures. Why do you believe your scriptures? Again, you are asking me to believe your scriptures. No. These scriptures are not books written by someone and out of our brain, just using your intellect. It is the expression of the experience of some sages, and that has been noted down afterwards. Kathamrita, the gospel of Ramakrishna, is not an intellectual product. No one sat there and Google searched all these points as we do in our talks and lectures and everywhere. And then I prepare a lecture and give a boom bam, big thing. Gospel is not like that. Gospel, he is talking about his experience. So the scriptures, it is the experience. Shastra yonitvat. Yoni means the cause or the root being in the scripture. Shastra. All the shastras are valid. Why? Because they are not intellectual products. They are the product of spontaneous experience. And simply spoken. M was sitting there, the Master Mahasaya, the teacher, Master Mahasaya. He noted those in diary and he developed that, exactly what he said. That's why it is called direct experience. And that is called the scripture. That's why all books are not scriptures. That's why it is said that we as devotees and sadhus, we should be careful to read what book we read. Only read those books which have been experiential books, like Bible, like Dhammapad, like Upanishads, like the Bhagavad Gita. Those are the experiences of these illumined people, enlightened people. So that is very important. Shastra jonityat, because the scriptures alone being the means of right knowledge. How do I know? Because it has been in the scripture of Revelation. It's a book of Revelation. And with regard to Brahman, this proposition is laid, whatever in the scriptures, these are only we are getting the outcome of these experiences. So we have to believe that, and not only that, the 4th point is that tattu samannayat. Brahman is the main purport of all the Vedanta texts. You have to understand. What is the goal of all the scriptures? All the scriptures aim at that absolute oneness, transcendental reality, absolute. But you can view it from a distance. You can make it Shaguna, you can make it Ishvara, you can make it gods and goddesses, you can make it Avatara. But all scriptures end towards a one, and that is the absolute Brahman. That is called the Tattu. But that means that Brahman is to be known only from the scriptures and not independently by any other means that is established. Because, why? Samanayat. Because it is the main purport of all the Vedanta texts that it is leading to that one conclusion. So this book, that's why this book is rational. And we now read Swami Vivekananda. Put any question about spirituality. How clear, how logical, and how convincing is their explanation there of the experiences of the sages, or what Sri Ramakrishna said. He said that he is the mouthpiece, no? Ramakrishna is the inner source. He is the expression. So Bani tumi bina pani kanthe more. Swami Vivekananda wrote in one poem, you are my Bani, you are what I am speaking, you are Bani, the words. And you are sitting like Mother Saraswati in my tongue and expressing. So all the complete words you get, it is Bani. It's the message of what? Bina Pani, as Mother Saraswati plays her strings and music, so it is Ramakrishna's message going through it. So this we find that we can match that how these three paths of exit, if we can harmonize, journey will be easy. That's why what Ramakrishna said, what Vivekananda logically produced, and then follow what Mother have practical life asked us to apply. Then if we can blend these three, then realization is here and now it is possible. But let us still see what we are reading in the Upanishad a little, and I will see how that has been analyzed in the Brahma Sutras. I have given a little glimpse of that. And now I'll go to the Gita, how it will be resolved there by practice. So, here, say author Mundaka Upanishad says, Kasminnu bhagavo vigyate sarvamidam vigyatam bhavati iti. What is that? Oh Master, oh Sir, please tell me, knowing which one everything in this universe will be known. But we know, and then response will be coming on, let me see how the response the Upanishad gives. The first question came, Kasminnu bhagavo vigyate, knowing which all this relative knowledge will be known. How can be one thing there is one I know, by knowing which everything will be known? Then the response is given by the Upanishad. Devi Devidito Be. There are two sciences are there to know. One is the Itihasmajat Brahma Vido Vadanti. What is that? Apara and Para. Apara Vidya, science of material science, and Para Vidya, supreme knowledge, transcendental knowledge. So he gave those two. But how to reach that? This high, again it's a statement. Rishi is saying that you want to know by which everything is known. You have to know two vidyas, two sciences. One is the material science, in which the galaxies are there, stars are there, the earth is there, how all these sciences, material science, what can give you, physical science as we say. And then there is another science, transcendental science. So that you have to know. But this is a statement. How shall I follow? You go to Gita, Bhagavad Gita in the 9th chapter. He says, I am the absolute truth is coming in a person as it were in the form of Krishna. He's saying, I am the Gati, I am the end of your journey, life's journey. I am the master of your journey. I am the eternal witness of everything. And I am the support of all of you. And I am your friend also. Take refuge in me. And from me, everything has been created. Everything comes back to me. And everything ends in it. Therefore, what you do? See how practical. 9:22. Anannas chintayanto mang yejana purjupasate tisang nitta vijuktanam yogakshemang bahamaham. So now you surrender to me. It's a transcendental, huge philosophy, comes down, boils down to a practical solution. I am here. I am that Brahman. I have come before you. I stand here to help you. Follow me. Take refuge in me. That Ananya, don't think of anything. Think of me. Anannas chintayanta. And those who will be meditating on me, and then they will be always connected with me. As a result, they need not have to be worried about his day-to-day living, day-to-day health condition, day-to-day nothing. I will take care of everything. See, it's a practical solution, how I can apply it in day-to-day life. This again said, you whole day, whatever you do, offer everything to me. Patrang, puspam, phalang, toyam. If you are doing worship, whatever you have, just you have nothing, give me little water, give me little flower. And whatever you give with love, I accept that and I release that and I will release you from bondage. Manmana bhavo, put your mind in me. This is doable for us. We know, let us know the philosophy. Let us know the reason. Let us not say, because the book has said, and every literal word is to be taken and taken in a wrong direction and wrong application, creating trouble in the world. Not that. A rational thinking, rational mind will take the teachings of the people of authority and then following this manmana bhavo, follow Krishna. Follow Krishna, Buddha. Buddhang saranang gacchami, that come from here. Buddha, you be following Buddha, following Krishna, following Christ. Manmana bhavo, madbhakto bhavo, become a devotee of me, salute me only. Everyone you are saluting, you see, you are saluting me to all. So come to this oneness by your day-to-day life. You do your all the rituals, but you turn your attention to me and me. And therefore, mami vaisvasi, you will attend me only. Yuktam, if you can connect with me in all this possible way, keeping your mind with me, devoting to me, by worshipping me, by saluting me, wherever you bow your head down, you think you are saluting me. So it is actually telling the absolute truth, Satchidananda everywhere. But giving us, coming down to our level, this teaching of the Bhagavad Gita is helping us. Holy Mother, see, relentlessly she is doing all work and keeping the mind in, always in God. Example, just that is the example. Keeping the mind in samadhi, pulling down for the welfare of the humanity. So showing that if we do your duty, you cannot just give up your responsibilities and duties. Do. And at the same time, see, you are serving me, 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 me. Another, just a suggestion. When there is a Upanishad, Kena Upanishad, there is a story, as you know, that Kena Upanishad, we just chanted one verse. Second verse, where they said, how we can solve that mystery when he says that who is guiding force, who is behind my mind, who is behind my eyes. And you said that it is all Brahman. But how to do? How shall I practice that? We can find in the Bhagavad Gita, in the third chapter, fourth verse, that you do work. Your mind should be purified. Idle sitting, idle life does not lead anyone to any goal. Therefore, don't try to think you will be reaching in the state of that which is the guiding energy behind our speech, our mind, our eyes, our ear. You will reach that. Na karmanam anaramhat. Unless you start your activity and do it in proper way, then purity of the heart will not come. So you start na karmanam anaramhat niskarmang. You cannot reach that state of who is the guide. You can reach there. And you see the nature of us. No hi kaschit sanamapi. No one in the world for a moment can remain without any work. So get engaged. It is inspiring to engage into action, day-to-day life, as we are here. Few people are there who are capable of just sitting and thinking, I am the witness consciousness, and they can really enjoy that level. For us, this is a struggle, but we have to start where we are. Not that is wrong. If someone thinks that way, it is not wrong. But to make it more joyful and cheerful and to keep our mind, we should follow these 3 steps. So Gita's idea is coming, Niyatam kuru karmatvam. You do work forever. No karmo jayo hi akarmana. Sitting idle and thinking, oh, I have reached a state of where there is no karma. I have reached a Brahman. Brahman does not do any karma. I am Brahman, I am Brahman. Some people say, I am Brahman, then what to do? What meditation? Whom to meditate? That's true, whom to meditate. But why do you eat? That time you think that you have ego. So if you don't feel the need of meditation or enjoying the bliss, but if you have raised that condition, samadhi, there's no problem. But that is not so. Sometimes we misunderstand and we put some wrong emphasis on our ability. So he says, come to the Bhagavad Gita. See, niyatam kuru karmattam. Karma jayo hi akarmana. Rather than sitting idle or thinking that I have reached a state of akarma, beyond karma, I have reached that state, you do that karma. And if you do jaggarthat karmana, if you do karma for offering it to God, start there. And parallelly you think you are Atman. Parallelly bring your all philosophy. But fundamentally exhaust your bad karmas, the tendencies to wipe out. Therefore, jaggarthat, niyatam kuru karmattam. You should engage all the time in your karma. And if you can do jaggarthat for the cause of God, or offering it to God for the good of all, and all in all is God. So, loko ayam annatta. If you do other karma, then that will bring you bondage. Loko ayam karma bandhana. Therefore, what you do? Tadartham karma kuru konteyo mukta sangha samachara. You do karma for the good of others, for the good, for God. Say that I did it, O Lord, for you, for you, for you. And then mukta sangha. Be free from all attachment. And wander in the world is cheerfulness and joy. To feel the freedom. So, the Shruti Yukti Anubhuti, this should be the goal of life. Upanishad, what he says, what Ramakrishna says, experience. Yukti, it is to be rationally understood. That is it making me a better person? Is it making me a person of heart and love and expansion? Or it is making me bigoted, jealous, or very limited in my perspective of looking at other religions and things? Or it is making me broaden. So these should be rationally taken, and this Upanishadic idea should be taken. And then Shruti Yukti, and we need to Anubhuti. We need our own experience. It is not mere talk we'll do. We need to have experience. And how to experience that? That is the 3 paths which we can take in our life's journey, 3 together. Samanvaya, it should be all harmonized together. And a perfectly blended life will happen. And in modern age, as I said, I emphasize that it is, we have example of the Shruti, Smriti and Nyaya. That is, here we have our Ramakrishna, here is we have our Swami Vivekananda, and we have our Holy Mother. If we can blend together 3 of them in our life, this is the goal. Samadhi, you cannot talk much. Ek kotha, in one word you want to hear about Brahman, come to me, as Mahapurush Maharaj said. Experience. Many words, you go to that Swami who can explain you from the Brahma Sutra and other logical texts, no? Third, you want to experience? Come. Dedicate your life for God. Dedicate your life for good of others. Dedicate your life for realizing the truth, not mere talking. So this is the emphasis. So these are the three aspects of our life we can get and can try to find an exit. Exit means exit from this duality. Exit means exit from this pain and suffering and miseries and this horrible world which appears as horrible. It's not horrible. Sri Ramakrishna says, Ami khai dai ar majaluti. I eat and dance and enjoy. So he is enjoying everything. Because this horrible universe is not horrible. Because who is the killer? Who is the killed? Who is loving? Who is loved? Who is hated? Who is hating? It is but one. And that blending will come after experience. That's why he is enjoying. But we cannot enjoy because we are in duality. We are in ignorance. And we have to understand the truth very clearly, that there is all the scriptures are talking about the ultimate goal is there. We may be standing now here, no problem. I can see the sun, maybe 10 miles radius, glow ball of fire. But let me go, that's okay. That's okay, but I know what is sun intellectually, and the scripture suggested, and the realized soul told me. So let me apply that in our life and we get it out. Thank you all.
Sacrifices?
For next Sunday is who?
5 sacred sacrifices, right?
So we'll have some question answer now. Not that you have to put the question, but, but if you have any. And next Sunday will be
Swami Satyamayana, and his topic is 5 Great Sacrifices.
5 Great Sacrifices by Swami Satyamayana next Sunday. And yes.
Any questions for tomorrow? Don't be shy.
Yeah, my question is how to improve the intellectual in different way.
How to improve the intellectual ability, Naki? What do you?
In different way, in the right way.
We should have to go to those arguments and analysis which has been done by, as I said, by realized people. There are different stages of development. Just to give you the example, looking at the sun, we can describe the sun in different distance. Starting from the earth, one, moving towards the sun, we can see the dimension. So argument, when we do proper type of argument, our brain becomes clear. Clarity of understanding comes. So to bring clarity of understanding, we should know the people who have reached the truth by following that traditions of analysis. That's why we have all the Vedanta classes, or you can read Shankara's books. But better, in the modern age, I will say practical, is read Swami Vivekananda, most rational. And as we go through those rational thinking, irrational thought which may be in my mind, they will find some solution. And if you have any question, of course, as much question comes, so much the clarity comes. But it should be spontaneously, and someone who knows that, we should go to them to listen the response, so that my clarity of misunderstanding will be understanding. Clarity will come in my misunderstanding. So we have to go to such people who are we have practiced this analytical path for a long time. Shankaracharya is the best one. If you want to go to the commentaries of Shankaracharya, read the Bhagavad Gita and read the commentary, and listen to the Swamis who are talking about this. Everything we are talking about in Vedanta, it clears our understanding much better. Our intelligence become clearer. Okay. No.
There's a discussion, or perhaps a misunderstanding on the comments on YouTube. And Thomas says, if God wanted to keep all of us with him, we would never have been born in the first place. Tell us, truly enlightened beings. Seeking destruction of soul is satanic.
So those who feel like that, they need not have to do all these things. If it is, again the question again, the God?
Well, the misunderstanding seems to be that we are seeking destruction of soul. He says, seeking destruction of soul is satanic, as if moksha is destroying the soul.
Right. Yeah, true. In one sense, God's play will go away. But think, it is Ramakrishna said that only in millions of kites flying in the sky, one or two get freed from the ties. So it is God's play. Yes, God is playing, and God is also playing this role of keeping us in ignorance. Again, God is also saying, here is freedom. Come, if you want to enjoy. That's why it's called, Sri Ramakrishna said, it cannot be explained. It is God's play. So God's play, if it is God's play, then what is our problem? That God will be unhappy? God is also giving the scriptures. Scriptures has come out of its own will. So I think that it is not to be thought in that way. That we are, rather, it is God has created this out of his fun, but also he is happy. As an example is given, happy that when we go back to him. Given an example, mother and the child, baby. The mother, when mother is happy, The baby is there. Mother can keep the baby all the time in her arms. But mother wants that baby should play. So mother prepares so many toys. But mother also, real mother also wants that the child will cry out, throwing out the toys, sometimes say, Mama. So similarly, God, I think that is the way. God, in one sense, He makes us want to play. At the same time, He also wants to come back home. As the children go on playing, and when they are engaged in deep play, and it is all arranged by mother only, because she has her own business, something to do. Our earthly mother, of course. And Divine Mother, maybe she had other business, I do not know. But she creates and she makes these toys for us. Look at that, our toys from childhood. Everything is toy. Children's toy is one time, when very youthful toys are something different, and the middle-aged toy is different, and old-age toys are different. So one toy after another toy, another toy. But if the children are very happy with that, then mother does her business. But when the child feels totally disgusted with these toys, Swami Vivekananda in his song, in his poem, he has said, "O mother, open thy door, thy tired son. Enough of this play. My play is done." That is the poem. There he has mentioned beautifully that I have played enough. I am tired of it. Please take me back home. So that urge comes. Mom loves that. That's also a part of her fun. So I don't think, because we are giving a talk of exit, that tomorrow 1 billion people will get liberated and run for God. That is not going to happen. So we are not to be worried about so much what will happen if this attempt is made. But it leads us to, and subjectively it is for our own joy. Forget about God's side. You are thinking from God's side, but look at our side. We are every day tormented by our suffering and pain and agonies and frustration and all this. So that this is my problem. I want to get out of that. Whether God wants, let Him choose what He wants. But it is I want to get out of this problem. I want to be blissful, which is my divine nature. That is the idea. Thank you. Okay.
There's another question.
Oh.
The question, well, there's a lot of discussion here, but the question, does free will exist, or are all activities predestined, including sadhana?
Yeah, this is an eternal question, free will versus self-effort. Actually, Ramakrishna has solved this, given this gross example. We also repeat the same example. A cow is taken to graze, to be grazing. The boy, cowherd boy, takes it, puts it in a peg with a little rope, stretch-up rope. And within that length, the cow can eat away all the grass, either here, or there, or there, or there. So, kurtum, annatha kurtum, akartumba. The cow can sit, not eating anything. Cow can grab the eastern side, finish the western side. But this is also God's grace. God has given us certain rope. Each of us have certain intelligence, certain ability. These are all, you will say, it is given by God. But here is the question, sir, if I exhaust my energy or do not, I finish within this range, whatever is doable, have I done that, exhausted that? If I do that, like the cowherd boy extends the rope, God extends our power, our capacity. So it is already everything, from one angle if we see, everything is God's grace. But there is a position of self-effort. in the story of the father and the three children in the Bible, the father gave three of them equal amount of money. And after 1 year, they called them, "My child, what did you do with that money?" So one of the sons says, "I have so many friends, and I went on fun and joy and spend this, that, and that's done, gone." Okay. Second boy, "I have kept it in deposit or in my vault." Okay. Then the other boy came, he said, "What did you do?" "I used that money and made it a double money by investing that into higher investment or whatever he did." So then father wanted to give. Whom he will give out of these three? So he who has doubled it. Meaning God has given us ability. That much you can say, and within that ability we can call self-effort. But if you ultimately think everything is God's, this self-effort is also will happen. Without God's will, it does not happen. But don't take that stand. Then we will be fossil. We will be selfish. We will do all little things for our own fun and joy, and the blame I will give it to God. God is not supplying me. I wanted this, but have you done your part? So that's the point. I think self-effort and God's grace. Actually, everything is God's grace, but self-effort has a position. But really, it is destined. If you say destined, in that way it is destined, that it is within that range our things are determined. And who has determined in this range? I creating the cow who is eating on the eastern side, it is creating its own karma. Western side is northern side. Whatever we do the karma, in what attitude we do, where we do, these are creating my trajectory of life. Good and bad comes in that way. We blame God. No, God has given us the will to do things, but what I do, I have little freedom there. And that freedom, sometimes we cannot use it properly, misuse, and we get the wrong output of that. So I think everything is God's will in that sense, but other sense we have good position of self-effort. And without self-effort, I cannot expect further spiritual development or material development also. It is not possible. Okay.
One more question. What is your perspective on Christians that say every other religion is of evil?
I think that is their view. I cannot comment on that, but we should be careful that we should not think in that line. And Ramakrishna said every path is a genuine path. If one is sincere, even one is wrong, apparently, going in a wrong thing, but if he is sincerely following that, Sir Ramakrishna said, someone will come at certain point of time and tell him, go this way. Sometimes we drive, we do not know any road or anything. Sometimes GPS is also lost. Huh? And then what do we do? But someone comes in our life, we never go on round and never find the destination. I miss 10 times maybe, go this way, that way wrongly. And then ultimately someone guides me. So if the sincerity of purpose is there, then it will happen. And there are only few people, few Christian maybe thinking like that. There are good people who think, most liberal people are also there in Christianity, in every religion. But we as a Vedanta student, we should have to hold this idea and respect every path from a distance. You need not have to follow that. Your path is your path, but all paths are valid and right, and they will lead to the goal. We should have to have that trust and respect and love. Okay? So, thank you all. So, I will end here. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.